All right, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, if you want to check out, of course, my breakdown of the previous series, I suggested you either look at the Twitter vote or the Twitch vote because I was rambling for 4 hours. I have to admit that I'm quite tired, so I'm just going to be really unloading all my thoughts surrounding the matchup between Bilibili and GENG. So we got the prediction right with Bilibili winning today, went to 3-2 games. 3-1 was a lot back and forth, like draft seems to be very important. But I want to peel off the layer of what we saw in the previous matchup, and I figured that I would do it in the order that we see, what I've written on the screen. The matchups in itself, I think the biggest edge for GENG, of course, is Chovy against Mr. Knight. I think that Chovy has answers into everything, plays the Corki, plays the ASOL, forces those bans, can even play around, right? They can play around with their own bans. They banned Talia and Ari, of course, every game of the last series, but they can even switch it up and go so far to first pick these champs because Chovy is really proficient on them too. They go into fucking 4-5 and he can lock in Yon together with Nidley and he can just play it at such a level as if he is an OTP. Chovy right now is definitely in his element, but I think it makes sense to remove Ari still because I think that the only time Knight might have an edge against Chovy is in the answers against Ari, meaning if we're in a world where for some reason Lissandra, Nico, Annie, Ari are the most important champions like last MSI, I do think that Knight is a little bit better in those cases. But that is not the case here at this tournament. Corki, ASOL, Talia. One thing that I think that Chovy doesn't like playing too much is Orianna, but even on that front, right, I don't think that Knight's Orianna is something that takes over games. I don't think it's something that is so massive, so I don't think they need to care about that so much. But the big thing in terms of matchups, I do think that Chovy, of course, is the much better player, even though I think that you can have a conversation, maybe you think that Caps perform better than Knight. I still think Knight is a fantastic mid laner. It's just that at this point in time, Chovy is the best player with the best individual form that we've ever seen. I think that Chovy is making arguments to eventually overtake Faker as the GOAT of the game. But that's maybe a video for the future. I'm thinking of making the series called The Arguments, where I break down why you maybe should consider a specific player a GOAT or a GOAT of their position. And I'm not going to take a stance, but I'm going to pretty much just break down all the historic moments and what they've done, I think that's a very intriguing thing for me to do. Maybe someone for Canyon, the jungle GOAT, the top lane GOAT conversation. You just like break down their big matchups, the big numbers and everything that they've done, I think that would be really cool. But back to the matchup, Chovy favored. Bin versus Keen. I think a very key detail, right, about GENG and their team identity is the fact that I think their solo laners are so damn precise when it comes to side lane farm distribution. I think that in terms of Keen and Chovy, I think that they farm sides so damn well. I think that they are simply so damn precise. Very tough to gank. You see occasionally other players dying on side, but in terms of how GENG flows as a unit on the map, they limit risk a lot and they play on information. They're not going to take big gambits like Bilibili does or even T1 does. And that is their biggest strength, but sometimes their fault too, because they're not going to find big swing comebacks. All of it's going to be very planned, and if the enemy is in the same state of mind, you can get through. But getting the foot through the door against a team like GENG is already difficult because this is a team that is very good, strong in the lane phase. So Keen and Chovy, I think they are very smart when it comes to the side laning. But I do have to say, especially after today's series, I think the fact that Bin showcased that he's so proficient on Twisted Fate, something that we've seen less of, really puts him on the radar for me, man. I think Bin has showed a fantastic Camille, has the jacks in the back pocket, and the fact that he can just lock Twisted Fate like this is massive. But Keen is a player that has a deep champion pool too. The main question is, how deep is Keen willing to go at this moment in time in the tournament? Now, if we take a look at some of the drafts, in reference to this, if we look at the last series, we had the Kisante lock in 1, 2, 3, and then in a lot of cases, Chovy, Canyon dropped 4-5. GENG really like it, right? They like to go 4-5 with both the mid lane and jungle because they are picking combos together. It seems to be the trend, right? Here in this particular spot, they picked Nautilus Kalista and Webian picked Tristana, so they go Hui. Here he dropped the Poppy, right, on Kisante's head, and Poppy was a masterful lock-in. It's like Keen plays champions. It was the same as with Chovy. He didn't really need to show anything else before now, and they're very cohesive in the way they draft. But when Keen or Chovy was pushed deeper, I think that they can show more, right? I really think that they can show more. Here, GENG just went for a classic TF. I thought this was a dangerous TF spot because they are so AP heavy, but they managed to claw together off of the mistakes of Bilibili, of course, in this game, where Vex was over-posturing and they took some bad fights around objectives, I do think that Keen is the type of player that can play Jax, and he can easily drop a Rumble if it's the case. So I don't know how much of an edge it is. I do think that Bin, similar to Zeus, I think that he is more capable than Keen to hard carry games, but I think that's just by virtue of how these teams play. I think Keen is such a good top laner for how Chovy likes to play, because Keen matches that level of safety, and I think that they just keep a consistency in the game that makes everyone feel very comfortable. Because you can extend that to the bot lane too. I do think that Pace and Lehens are worse than the Bilibili's bot lane. But that these are guys that are not going to gamble if they don't know where jungle position is. They're not going to gamble if they don't know where mid position is. They're going to focus on stabilizing most of the time, which I think is a characteristic that Bilibili bot lane completely lack. Bilibili bot lane is so used to playing with Shun backing them up and always having the backup of their mid laner too, that they are playing perma-aggressive, and through that they're getting a lot of leads and they have built a name for themselves, right? But sometimes they also all go too far, that we saw in the series, of course. In the series last time, in the game 2 as an example, the Nidalee was matching in the bottom side. They dove with Kalista, Ashe, Sejuani because they wanted to snowball the game, and they all only went forward, right? They dived 3v3 under the turret. They got killed there, and then even in this game, right, if you guys remember, the Senna and Tamkench, they were completely running it down because they died to every single gank, right? I don't think that, I do think that Elk and On have way higher performance peak capabilities, and I do think that's the truth of Bilibili. I think Bilibili are far more likely to play games that are close to 100%, while GENG's output is like a consistent fucking 95, They will miss some opportunities, they will miss some squeezes, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, in the pursuit of this, you can also fall into the 70 to 80% call it precision games, while GENG keep a sturdy 95. Bilibili, they play with a lot more variance, is what I'm saying, while GENG is the epitome of discipline. And I think that's very comfortable because obviously they have a lot of trust in the fact that when Keen or Chovy gets gold, that they're going to, win, They really trust that. So we saw some blunders today from Shun, for example. He invades. Canyon also does the same thing, right? If we look at the jungle matchup, Canyon has the Nidalee in his back pocket. But in that series, when he was smurfing on Nidalee, he did get it 4-5. And the question is now, Bilibili now with the TF prio having changed and Bin being able to play it, I do think that they have more room to actually attack the Nidalee, right? They can actually ban the Nidalee. And I think that's super important when it comes to the Chovster, right? Not Chovster, sorry, Canyon. I think Nidalee 4-5, I do think that they run a risk of never ever having the room to pick it. I think that it will be banned 4-5 in most cases, like we saw in today's series. Even against Owner right? Even against Owner, Nidalee bans come through. I'm not saying even in the way like Owner is bad on it. But if you're banning it against T1, you will ban it in these type of spots against GENG 2. So I think that part is important. Canyon has played imprecise. He invades, sometimes dies. He's not the Canyon that was, peak Canyon like the 2022 one or 2021, right? I think those Canyons were in prime form, but Canyon is playing really, really good. Yeah? Another detail that I want to highlight, I do think that when it comes to Genji's Senna, I do think that Lehen's Nautilus is one of his best champs, if not his best champ. I do think that on the flip side, I do think that Genji played quite poorly with the Senna. When we see, today in the Bilibili series versus T1, I think that we saw exactly what he is capable of on, like what Senna is capable of. I always get asked, why are people picking Senna? The thing is, the issue always was Senna and Tam. Tam is just not useful always, and mages are mid, and you're getting poked and you don't have any pressure. Ornn and Nautilus, they have a very consistent output because their ultimates always find value. Tahm ultimate doesn't always have value, right? And what Senna can do is that she can choose to open wherever your jungle is. You can invade, you can fight on enemy jungle, you can play on your top slow push, on your bot slow push, and the enemy have to always second guess what's happening in the game because you can't stack waves and dive into enemy Nautilus or Ornn, especially because he's running TP. So that is what makes Senna so OP. If she's active in the game and follows activity and she has a jungler that can actively fight, then she will get all of those souls that they've been lacking. Because in these games, I do have to say that I think Pei's Senna is not that great. Or at least I would have to say that Genji's playstyle doesn't fit to what Senna wants to do, but Lehen's is good enough Nautilus to justify picking it. I just think that the layers that Bilibili have evolved on, right? Because that's the main question since the last time. What has Bilibili shown us more? Because Genji qualified to the finals after this best of 5. Bilibili have shown us the Senna, the Ornn, the Senna Nautilus, something they played, right? They've shown us Bin TF, right? Bin TF, which was massive, his Camille gaming and his Jax gaming, right? This is something that we knew of. He lost the game on Jax, right? Against the enemy. But I think this is massive, This is really, really big. They have good awareness of where Senna should be. And I think that will change things. Because, for example, here, right? Senna, enemy went Nautilus, Kalista. They didn't go Ornn. They went Tahm Kench. And that changes the whole draft power, right? That definitely changes the draft power. And you can look back at 2 of the Bilibili losses. I think game 3 was a complete draft loss. And this one, they accelerated through the dive on bot. These are mistakes, I want to say it. Even though they lost this way, these are mistakes that Bilibili are fully capable of making again. But I have to say the truth, that these 2 games were heavily accelerated in Genji's favor for that matter, So I want to highlight that. Bilibili can definitely repeat these type of losses. But these losses, once again, came from Bilibili's variance and Genji's capability of punishing and holding on to leads and going all the way to finish with them. And that can definitely happen and will happen, right? Even today, right? Even today, if you take a look at that game 2 that they played, they lacked the discipline to win this game after T1 dove topside. You guys remember with the Zeus, and they dove and they gave triple kill to Nautilus. And then you had the early on soul play on bot where Faker fucked up and misplayed. And then they couldn't be disciplined enough to play around Corki packages. While Genji do this as clockwork. Even in this series, they couldn't play a game super disciplined. They were trying to squeeze and save turrets, and they're trying to get into the head of the enemy. And I don't think that really works against Genji. As crazy as it might sound, I do think that, like, if we look at like the draft scenarios, if we continue, the main edge I think that Genji have is that I do think that Shun and On, especially On, I think that they are just a stronger duo. I think that Keen and Chovy are very good side laning duo. because they farm sides so well and they choose their fights so well, while Bilibili can be a lot more sporadic. But I think that Shun and On, when they can dominate River and they have the tools to do so, it's very hard to come back against Bilibili. So I want to highlight that. Looking at some draft scenarios, right? Like the key thing is we believe that Talia and Ari will be out. Aurelion Sol and Corki will be out on that side. I think what we saw from the last series, right, is that Tristana is a pick that, of course, Mr. Knight likes to play, but the enemy showed Hui into it, right? And they showed the Yon on the depth, right? They showed the Yon on the depth with the Nidalee lock-in. I think another thing for me, right, is that Bilibili actually have room in the 4-5 to ban differently. I think that's going to change the series a lot. Because I think often in the 4-5, like Sejuani, Poppy, those are pretty confused bans in my opinion. Sejuani, Poppy lock-in, like they banned Poppy after the K'Sante got annihilated here. I think that Bilibili did in this series against Genji the mistakes that T1 did in their series. I think that Bilibili have found a way to enable Bin completely, and I think that's the most crucial aspect of the upcoming series that I think can be the difference maker, the biggest change. Because here, Bilibili was just K'Sante Andy, you know? He was just K'Sante Andy with Sejuani, Poppy, and Nidalee made it through, Maokai made it through, and I think this is where they create a lot of flexibility for themselves. Like Bilibili Lee Sin Twisted Fate ban is just so strange, and in reality they are ready to play TF now, you know? And I think that evolution is a very big difference maker, massive difference maker. You look in the 4-5 Bilibili here, they banned Tristana Hui, enemy went Yon Nidalee, right? The Nidalee is on the radar, you know? It is on the radar. Like I show you guys from T1 side, this game, they pick Viego on 4 and make Zeus play K'Sante instead of 5 picking him top, right? Here, Vayne is still open. They can go Sejuani. If enemy goes K'Sante, he can pick Vayne. If they go Camille, he can pick a counter together with Sejuani. They could have really set up Zeus for success here. And you see that their change out in the 4-5 with the Nidalee and the Jax, this is something that will heavily apply tomorrow. You know, heavily apply tomorrow. And I think that's super exciting. Here in this one as well, right? It's like here, it's a little bit more understandable, but in the same vein, Bilibili picked Twisted Fate on 3 with the Jax Camille ban, the K'Sante gets locked in. K'Sante's still fucking solid, his output is good, but just think about it in the context of top lane, because this is something that Keen likes doing too, just picking K'Sante. And I feel like right now, Bin is ready to play into K'Sante with the pool that he's prepared, right? Which is super interesting to me. I think Genji haven't shown anything crazy when it comes to lane swap. I actually think that T1 might be the best lane swapping team at the tournament. I think T1 showed very good level 1 understanding and swap understanding. Genuinely, yeah. They did like defenses at this tournament. They did nice defenses. They realize how to use swaps to get TP advantage for Zeus, which I think was very intentional. I think that T1 was really good when it came to the lane swaps. But I think you have a point there that Bilibili, you know, maybe that's the main takeaway that they can get from today, right? Is that they can set up top laners with TP advantage if they choose to like swap away and then base with their bot lane and then base behind Fog so the guy can't free TP on a big wave, and then you have TP advantage on top, right? That's definitely something that can happen. It is funny that in that game 1, Twisted Fate played with TP, and I thought it was because of swap shenanigans, and then Bin said in an interview, "Lul, I just forgot to change it." It's just very funny. So I think that's the biggest shift up. I still think that Knight has a bit of an issue when it comes to his champion choices. I wonder if Knight is just going to full commit into being a CC bot Andy. Like, maybe tomorrow he just commits, goes full Yagao. You know, he goes full Yagao, just picks Annie, just picks Nico, just picks fucking Vex. And maybe this is the solution. Because at least he pushes early, he wins lane, and then in those games, Chovy going even is a massive win. A massive win. And then he has enough map impact for Elk and On and Bin to dominate. Maybe Knight's role needs to be the role of a dog. Are those good picks into Asol? No, they're gonna ban Asol. Asol, I think is, you need to, the thing is, people are banning Asol and Corki against Chovy because these champions are too OP when they go even or are ahead. And Chovy just goes even or is ahead. So they are banning Asol and Corki every time because he farms side insanely well and he will show up for the big fights with a big ult and a big package, and all the agency is in the hand of Chovy. They don't have to ban Azir, I think. I don't think they have to ban Azir because they have answers into Azir. So it's going to be interesting. I think plain and simple, they're going to start out on this side for sure. I wonder if, you know, Billy is going to ban. It's like look at Billy draft, right? They ban Aurelion Sol, Nautilus, Senna. Like they are not ready to play the Ornn. Like that's why I think. It might sound crazy, but I think through draft, I think Billy might be able to create an edge. Because you see, like here in this game, they're banning Nautilus Senna. I think the series will be really fucking close, man. But my gut is telling me that fucking Billy will win it. I think the draft evolutions we saw today is going to be the little percentage that are going to make the difference. But GENG should start on blue side, right? And then the question is here, do they ban Senna? Do they ban the Senna here? That's the main question. That's the main question for me, man. Do they ban the Senna? Or do they ban the Azir? And then the main question for me, right, in these spots when GENG is on blue side, right, like they have a free ban. They banned the Vayne here, right? But they have a free ban. I wonder, like, what I want to see, I want to see more of this shit, man. I'll see more of this shit, bro. I want to see more of this shit, man. Like, this would be interesting to me as an evolution, you know? And it's like, the Vayne ban right now is not enough against Bin. It's not enough. K'Sante came in, right? Like, they like to do this rotation, and they have to, like, think again about shit like this, you know? I think that taking Nautilus away is also a valid strat, because we haven't seen Lehens play Ornn. But at this point, bro, if he doesn't play Ornn, he's trolling, right? Like, you have to play Ornn. If he picks Tahm here, he loses the series on the spot. He needs to be ready to play Ornn. He better fucking practice 1v1 Ornn like right now and rock and roll, you know? I think the Vayne ban is completely useless now, in my opinion, because he showed a really good Twisted Fate. I think that makes the Vayne ban more useless, you know? Because in this series, they banned Vayne, they picked K'Sante, and he refused to pick TF. He went fucking Jax, you know? They went Orianna, Sejuani, they picked Jax because they picked the pairing with Seju, right? Like here, for example, imagine they pick Orianna on 3, and then they choose, depending on enemy bans, what they do with top lane, with the jungle. It would have been better, right? Because here they pick Orianna, and then maybe if Camille is open, then they pick Sejuani. And then they don't need to play Jax as an example, you know? And then you have options. You pick Orianna, and then maybe you go Zinza out Twisted Fate. There's more work to be done. I just think Billy, I like where they are draft-wise. I like where they are sitting draft-wise. I think they understand how to set up Bin for success now. And I think that the fact that they have played the Senna and can play the Ornn and the Naut makes it super, super interesting. I do think that they are the best Senna team at the tournament. Just in terms of using map pressure and how Elk connects together with Jungle, like, is really, really cool. But this is one of those series, guys, like, from my perspective, I do think that Bilibili can hit a very, very high peak tomorrow. But GENG, their 95% might as well also be enough, man. I think picking Tam is out to lose. Because Tam is not good in the current meta, it just isn't. Tam is not good against any mid lane champs that people are playing. He gets poked out, he gets drained out. It's just too tough, man, too tough. I hope that we're going to, I hope that the fucking knight that we see tomorrow, bro, is gonna be the Nico and the Annie, and he's gonna say, fuck it, man. I will push, I will flash on enemy. God bless. Can Senna be paired with something else than Naut or Ornn? But you don't need to. Senna Nautilus is the best blind lane, and then the best answer into Nautilus is Ornn. So there's nothing else that you need to do, bro. This is gonna be a CC Andy, and his team is gonna carry, bro. Just push and hover. Let Chovy be on the turrets and let him be happy with going even, being ahead. Like, you just have to accept that that's gonna happen either way, man. How did Bilibili get gapped so hard versus GENG the last time then? I think that the biggest win that GENG had that series was this game. This was the biggest win. Because Bilibili fucked up that Drake fight. And I have to say, Shun, when it comes to objective play, focuses too hard on the dragon. He focuses too little on winning the fight. He focuses way too hard on winning the fight, man. He just like eyeballs the dragon and loses position. I can show you guys some examples. That part scares the shit out of me for Bilibili. So we have Bilibili versus GENG Game 4. Take a look at this one. Drake 3. Here. Shun is lost, bro. Shun is completely lost, man. He's not, like, he's completely in the wrong spot. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's like solo losing the game right now. Because these guys can play the game because they know that Vi is in Zimbabwe. That's like very, very bad. Shun getting gapped by Canyon will do more than Chovy gapping Knights. I don't think that Shun necessarily got gapped, man. I don't think he did. Sometimes the game just gives you a hand to play, you know? And if you're playing Nidalee and you're getting ahead early, you know, that is what it is. But will Canyon get Nidalee 4-5? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because here Shun really griefed the fight. Or we had the fight today, right? T1 versus Bilibili, game 4. This is also a good example. Like, this is... Maybe it's just Vi related. Maybe just Vi related and Vi is cursed. Because it's like, I do think Shun is one of the best. Shun is one of the best Vi players. But then he does this on objectives, you know? Like here, Shun is just misplaying, right? He's not posturing with his team, gets Q3'd in Q, and Zeus just chunks the shit out of him. he can just queue out and just play space and then combo together with Corki and TF and kill the side, you know? But he just plays a lot of Drake situations bad. And maybe Vi is just a trash champion. Because today, I think that Xin Zhao, when he played Xin Zhao, he was popping off, right? Xin Zhao was really big for him today. So maybe that just is the issue, you know? Maybe Vi is just trash. It's like I've been saying that Shun is a really, really good Vi the entire time, but maybe it's just troll, right? Because I think his Vi is really good, but he just loses on Vi perma. So maybe it's just fucking trash, you know? Maybe there's just too many tanks and too little ult targets and too many stopwatches. But there we go, bro. Match list. Vi defeat. Vi defeat. Vi defeat. Against PSG Talon. I think his Wukong and his Vi are giga cursed, bro. I hate the Wukong lock-ins. But I'm going to predict, guys, 3-2 Bilibili. That was my prediction pre-tournament as well. I think that Bilibili is a better team in comparison to GENG. But this... Maybe I wake up tomorrow and I feel differently waking up tomorrow. That's how close this series is to me, man. That's how close the series is to me. And a lot of the things that I hope that Bilibili will do, maybe they don't do. You know? Maybe they don't do. Because in the end, Chovy has a fucking edge in his fucking champion pool. And that can be enough to secure the series because GENG is so damn disciplined, you know? I'm not gonna go into fucking intangibles, whatever, you know, they have momentum, I'm not so sure, but the main thing that I'm hoping from Knight's side, you know, so he shows more than he did the last time is just, you know, he needs to show these layers, you know, these layers. And I think that Nidalee is a champion that they will ban always in the 4-5. And the question is, can GENG piece together the drafts when they pick it 1, 2, 3? Because if they pick Nidalee 1, 2, 3, then Tristana and Yone will be banned always, you know? Like, that's the main thing, is that Canyon Nidalee, he's picking it in the 4-5, and he's getting the Yone together with it because it's post bans, you know? There was also that one game, they picked it into, of course, Tamkench. Like, they picked it into Tamkench because they already had heavy engage. So I think that Nidalee will not be the same, you know? Nidalee will not have the same impact like in the other series. The key thing, right, is that you need to draft engage and hard engage tools against these teams. You have to, because I think GENG, when it comes to playing range and playing disciplined, they are so damn good, you know? And for sure, guys, Bilibili have dirty games. They have dirty games. It's like, this game can happen again. How they dive and lose the game on their own. This game can happen again. They lack that discipline. But they throw away that discipline in pursuit of squeezing water from stone. I'm sure you talked already about it, but what happened to Lucian Nami Prio? You know what happened to Lucian Nami Prio? Genuinely? Lucian Nami Prio happened because everyone's banning mid laners. So right now the bot lane meta is prioritized Senna, and then into Senna people play Kalista, Nautilus, because they want to take away the Naut. And if you give Naut to play Lucian Nami, Nautilus is good against Lucian Nami. But if the enemy goes Naut and you go Kalista, you can only go Renata. You can't play fucking Kalista Ornn. You get it? That's why I said I was doing well, you know? And right now in this equation, Lucian Nami falls on the wayside. Because enemy first picks Senna, and then it's all about that, you know? It's all about that. But it's gonna be close. I'm waiting at GENG jersey, guys, and I'm fucking calling the Bilibili win. I think that's it. But I underlined this all by saying, guys, I'm tired as fuck. I just reviewed. I've been streaming for 10 hours straight. And my brain is fried. Maybe tomorrow I wake up, feel differently, but I'm gonna stick to my guts here. I think that Bilibili will be able to piece together a situation where Knight finds comfort. Chovy will get advantages, he will. But I think that Bilibili, the fact that they showed evolution in Senna, they showed evolution in how to activate Bin instead of making him a Kisante Andy. And I think these are crucial details. They will throw a game, they might throw a game or two where where GENG is going to suffocate them. But I think that right now, in terms of where they are draft at, I do think that they found all the missing pieces. I really think they found all the missing pieces, so I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think Knight is about to lock in Nico, guys, and he's going to push waves and go to the gang, you know? Bilibili are kind of better on every position except mid. I think you can make an argument for Canyon. You can definitely make an argument for Canyon. But I do think that Elk and On is better than their counterparts. But it's like, it's weird because I think if Elk and On were on GENG, I think that team wouldn't work. I don't think that team would be as good as they are because it's like Elk and On work with Shun. It's like Pays is like a very, very humble guy, you know, very, very humble guy. The main question, right, is if, like, I wonder if they're going to just drop Azirpan. Maybe they drop Corki and Azirpan, they just leave it open. Maybe they try out playing Azir on their own with Corki out. Like maybe they cook something up, you know, where Talia, they ban Talia and then maybe enemy goes Senna, or maybe they ban Nautilus on 3. And they ban Not on 3, they pick Lucian Nami, you know, maybe they cook, you know, maybe they do Lucian Nami, Azir, bro, imagine they do Lucian Nami, Azir, bro, woo, what a draft, guys, they go Lucian Nami, Azir with the Nautilus out, it's gonna be crazy, bro, this is the best draft on the planet Earth, bro, this is gonna be crazy, bro. This is the draft, bro. This is the draft. This is the draft. Stop glazing yourself. What do you mean, bro? It's fucking obvious that I'm trolling, bro. I think you're putting too low prio on Ashe. No, I don't think so. It's like in Senna cases, I think you don't need to play Ashe. You can choose, right? You can just choose. But it could be, I think you shouldn't let Lehens get, you shouldn't let him Nautilus for free. Like if they first pick Senna, let's see if he plays Ornn. Just check if he plays Ornn. Don't let him get Nautilus for free, you know? Check if he plays it. Check if he plays it. Not everyone plays Ornn. Maybe Lehen sucks at Ornn. I saw Mako Ornn, I never want to see it again. Yeah, I shaved my head, Angie. Alright guys, that's it for me today. I'm feeling the Bilibili, guys. I'm feeling the Bilibili. I think that they are gonna make sure that their boy top lane is not gonna be a fucking Kesanta Andy, bro. This was a juicer draft, right? The first one. But I think also GENG, their 4-5 was disgusting. So I don't think it matters, you know? It's like GENG, really, this was Elk throwing up. It was this draft that came up. Viego Oriana 4-5. Oh my lord, it looks like a T1 Game 5 draft. You know? This is T1 Game 5 draft. Viego Oriana 4-5. Bah. Give Ari away. This never happening again, you know? Never happening again. But let's say the enemy opens with Senna. They go Kalista, Nico. Let's say go Kalista, Nico, and then go Ashe. And then they set up a case where my boy pops up. Or let's say they go Senna and they go Kalista, Ashe, pick top on 3 into bans. Side note, Faker is actually not bad at ASO, makes you wonder. He's really bad at ASO. Like he played, like I called for him to play more ASO, but he played really bad when he locked it in, so there's that. But I think that it's worth to play ASO because you get to the point where this champion plays itself, no joke. Like, you no joke, the champion is so OP that it plays itself after some point, you know? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have been honored to bring you the MSI coverage. I've been really blessed that I got permission to co-stream in English. I didn't have to co-stream in Arabic or Swedish or Polish. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with me, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, all right? Peace. Peace. Have a good night, guys.